Hello and welcome to Fish on Northwest. Duane Tommy Donlin.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hunting, fishing is my kind of style.
9 feet out behind me right now, so put your stopper up there on your mono.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a slow grind in the morning, you know, and that happens sometimes.
When you present it, you're sweeping it over an area. Now, when you get these big, wide areas,
yeah, those are the new Columbia River pop from McKay crab and shrimp here.
Picking wild berries off God's land and drinking my
There we go.
Yes, indeed.
Nicely done, buddy.
That's a beautiful fish, Duane. Nicely done.
Thanks for rolling me into him, Mike.
Yes, sir.
when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got. I'm digging in moss bags up in the sand. And after work, a cold beer in my hand.
Hello and welcome to Fish on Northwest. Duane Tommy Donlin coming to you live from the Fish on Northwest studio located here in Olympia, Washington. Want to invite everybody to today's program. So glad you could join us. And how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Just hitting the gym hard.
Yeah.
Getting in shape.
Yeah.
Using some LBs. It's been going well.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
It's funny. Our dinner conversation, we're kind of in the same boat.
It was identical. We both downloaded the Hallow app.
Yep.
We're both in the gym doing circuit workouts and a lot of work on the cardio equipment.
Starting the morning off, just kind of just immersing into a little scripture, and then off to the gym we go. And it's kind of funny. It's like parallel universes here.
It is.
So
it
it's
is.
Good stuff.
Great minds think alike.
Fantastic. How about the drive-in? Hit a little. Speaking of
hail,
hail,
I'm glad that didn't get worse.
Dude, it was coming down here. The ground was blanketed in white. It looked like a snowstorm hit. We had about, a 10-minute deluge of hail. Big hail, too.
Yeah, not a good sight when you're driving the Mustang.
No. And, thank goodness it's not the Midwest where it's golf ball size and we end up with dented vehicles, so we don't have to deal with that. But anyway, last week when we left, the plan was to head to the east side.
That's right.
Get the boat over to the east side. We're going to fish Roosevelt and Banks, and we're going to team up with Richie Harrod. We're going to do a day of walleye. We're going to get the side planers out, going to run that whole program going after triploids. And as you remember, last week we talked to Troy Black, all set to go. And then within about a 36-hour window, that weather forecast changed. It was going to be just blowing over there. And I'm not driving six and a half hours to get about maybe 1.5 days of good fishing in.
If it's blowing, you're not going?
That's right.
It was if it's blowing, we're going.
Oh, well, there's that.
Okay.
But over there, not too conducive to being successful. So we bagged it. We did have a weather window on a Monday, however. It was horrible Sunday. It was pretty crummy on Tuesday. But boy, Monday morning, cloudy. Little to no wind. Jordan and I are like, let's hit South Puget Sound. Let's get out there and let's just go drag around, try to find some Blackmouth, put a few more tracks on the old new electronics and get the boat dialed in. And that brings us to this week's peak outdoor moment of the week.
It is a fish. Yes, we will see. 86 feet of water. Huh. Do we actually have a keeper here? Slow this down a little. All right. Not exactly peeling line, but Blackmouth typically do not. Unless we get them over 8 pounds or something. So, and I think it's a little dink. He's still there. Yeah, it's gonna be a shaker. Let me get the release here. Yeah, there we go. Well, still have yet to put first blood in the boat, but little juvenile Blackmouth. Oh, there we go. And off he goes. All right, well, maybe they're going to go on the bite. We'll try to get a legal size one. Got to be over 22 inches. Going to rebait. Here we go.
All right, well, there you go. A little peak outdoor moment of the week. We getting first blood in the boat. Well, stay tuned. We got some more content that we actually achieved on our outing. Look, originally we had a couple other guys going with us. They both bailed, so it's me and the beard. Running the boat, running the gear, running the camera.
Yeah,
it's like,
perfect.
yeah, we can get it done. So we'll bring a
That'll
little
do.
something to you. As a matter of fact, let's not wait any longer. Running down the show. FHN back on the water, South Puget Sound in search of Blackmouth parts 1 and 2. How do we do? We finally get some blood in that new boat of ours. We're going to find out. Then we're bringing back to the program Tommy Dave Johnson, Kitsap Marina, and the man in the know when we're talking NOF and PFMC, the numbers in the seasons on the table. This will be a great discussion with Dave as he has all the answers. Then welcoming to the program, first time, Jason Harris, owner at Hunt G4 and the creator of the Northwest Hunt Expo, bringing him on with a recap and some great dialogue, maybe even a little discussion on gun laws that are going to affect gun purchases. And then we're going to break it all down for you. The 5th annual FHN Kids Trout Derby at Summit Lake. We have all the details. We put a post out a bit ago and folks are asking a lot of questions. So we're going to get all that info out to you on today's program. Then we'll come back with some announcements, openings, closings, and close out the show. So with that, jumping out for a quick break. We come back. We'll be out on the water, South Puget Sound, chasing Blackmouth right after this. The new leader in heavy gauge aluminum boats. Allied boats have standard reverse chine and lifting rakes to help you plane faster and run at lower RPMs. Allied boats have several models to choose from, ranging from a 19-foot Mustang all the way up to a 32-foot Liberator. So regardless of what type of heavy gauge aluminum boats you are looking for, Allied Boats will have it for you. Contact Allied Boats today to learn more about these incredible fishing machines.
I make my living catching fish, not only as a tournament angler, but as a guide as well. Catching fish is important, and Gamakatsu hooks for me, you know, they kind of help take the luck out of fishing a little bit just because they're a high quality hook. Obviously have a really good reputation for being very strong and very sharp. Gamakatsu, I use their products every day in the boat and, you know, big part of my success.
All right. Well, I guess it rained a little last night. Got a lot of water in the boat. All right, that's enough water out of the boat. Okay, here we go. All right, hey guys, Duane England Fish on Northwest. We're out here, Area 13. This is Zittle's Marina. It's about 7 minutes from the backyard, so not too terrible, I guess. Could be a lot worse. Look out over here. I mean, weather looks pretty decent. Heading out for today. Just me and the beard. Two-man operation. We're gonna try to see what we can go find out here. Scrape out some blackmouth and bring it to you. Here we go. Okay, we are on the water. We got both rods out. I got a 3.5 Kingfisher spoon on this side with my Potskis fire gel. I put a little anise and some herring. There's no downside to putting scent, especially the fire gel, because it stays for pretty much the whole day. Checking our depth here, we're coming up a little bit. Running anchovies. Got some anchovies brined up in the fire brine with a little bit of anise on that as well. These blackmouths love anise or anise, so definitely want to run that on some of your gear. Anyway, nice calm morning out here, not too, it's Area 13, not too crowded. And we are dragging bottom in the mud a little bit. So we're coming up. I got the autopilot on, so I don't have to really mess around here too much steering the boat. I'm just watching the gear as I sit back here. We're coming up on a little shelf. Now we like to start on the early side of this thing. It comes up to about 80 to 60 feet, but we start creeping in on this thing at about 100, 110. Get the gear in the water so that as we come up on this thing, we're down and ready to go, and we just kind of follow the contour and see if we got some fish staged up on here. We got an outgoing tide this morning. So again, with just me and Jordan, we could actually run 4 rods. You have a 2-rod endorsement, Area 13. Puget Sound, you can run 2 rods per angler, but we're gonna run 2 rods, 2 downriggers, and we will stay plenty busy. All right, doesn't feel real big. 70 feet of water. We've been marking a lot of bait in here. This one is on the spoon. Yeah, it's a little guy, little shaker. All right, well, but we are marking a lot of bait in here, so that's exciting. And we are running bait, so hopefully we'll start, start finding some bigger fish. Come here, little dude. Oh, came off. There we go. All right, so simple rig. Got the red green flasher, 360 flasher. Sorry, just keep an eye out. All right, 65 feet of water. It's about a 40-inch. This is my 40-inch leader, 40-42, 40-pound fluorocarbon. That's the Herring Aid Kingfisher spoon, a silver horde. Got a little bit of the Potskis fire gel, shrimp and anise. And remember, we put those barrel swivels on those split rings, so you got 360 rotation on them fish when they spin. So running a 3.5 today. The bait out here is still relatively small. We're early spring, so the herring and anchovies aren't all that big, so trying to match the bait size. But get this back out and see if we can get one that we can keep.
All Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why all boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. All Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. All Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Before you buy any boat, stop by or call Defiance Boats today to ensure you are getting the very best glass boat your money can buy.
your outdoor adventure at Sportgo and Outdoor Emporium, 2 locations with the best selection of name brand outdoor gear at affordable warehouse pricing. Over 60,000 different items to fit in your adventure, like Gamakatsu fishing gear, premium grade high carbon steel hooks, Gamakatsu custom designed fillet and boning knives to tackle and storage containers. Gamakatsu, simply the best. Maximize your outdoor adventure with the right gear at Sportgo and Outdoor Emporium, Fife and Seattle.
Okay. Let's stuff this in here. Get that glow fired up. Cloudy day, not a lot of sunshine. Pretty clear water, but we're dropping down to 80 feet or so. So to energize that glow can be helpful. Called anchovy. Again, it's in the fire brine natural and anise, and that's a good sized small anchovy for this time of year. And in this bay we're fishing, we got actually quite a bit of bait we continue to mark. So I figured it's just a matter of time before we start finding some fish. And these are so simple. Remember, we got a toothpick in here as your friction pull point. Okay, that's real important to get that toothpick in there. And then we just tuck that in the helmet, pin the head right on through. And I just simply like to hook these right behind their fin, and then we're just going to give a slight pull, put a little bend in that, charge this up just a little more, check our depth. We got out here way deep, but we'll fix that. Pull that out. Now, even though it's going to spin, you still want to check that spin. Take a look at it. Make sure we got a good spin going. Look at that thing. Rolling real nice. Real nice, Clark. All right, we went over this last year, but as a reminder, fishing rods never hit the deck of the boat. This is how problems happen. Fishing rods get broken, whatnot. They never leave my hand. And here's a great little way to grab your clip in the water. If you're not using your pull cord on your downrigger, I can just take this, scoop on in here, slide that right to my hand, tuck that under my arm, buried in the clip, rod never left the hand. Now, here we go, on the downrigger, on the reel, down we go. Check our depth. Well, we're not going that deep. We got to kick this boat back in, but we'll go down to 80, turn the boat around, and we are back fishing. So that is a fish. Yes, we will see. 86 feet of water. Huh. Do we actually have a keeper here? Slow this down a little. Alright. Not exactly peeling line, but you know, Blackmouth typically do not. Unless we get them over 8 pounds or something. So, and I think it's a little dink. He's still there. Yeah, it's gonna be a shaker. Let me get the release here. Yeah, there we go. Well, still have yet to put first blood in the boat, but little juvenile blackmouth. Oh, there we go. And off he goes. All right, well, maybe they're going to go on the bite. We'll try to get a legal size one. Got to be over 22 inches. Going to rebait. Here we go. Okay. Well, no keepers, but great day nonetheless. Let's see. Nobody got hurt. Nobody fell overboard. Couple shakers. And the shakedown run continues. Getting the boat really dialed in, man. The electronics, the Raymarine components are absolutely phenomenal. This is the Axiom 2 Pro. And we'll get more into that as we move on through the season. But to have the autopilot, put it on basically cruise control while you're trolling and, you know, running the gear, man, truly some great equipment to take advantage of. So, all right, we're gonna get the bumpers on as we pull into the marina here and call it a day. So with that, gonna jump out for a quick break. We'll be back in studio right after this.
All right, well, there you go. The shakedown run continues.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, you know, no adult keepers in the boat, no blood in the boat yet, but just kind of mapping it out and really getting the electronics dialed in. Autopilot's working fantastic on the troll, right? And just love using that so you can just focus on running the gear. And look, it's not crowded out there exactly, so you're not really worried about running into anybody, but just going through the paces, man, running the gear and just, you know, got the radar up and going, had to link that up with the password and everything. Downloaded everything I needed here on the Wi-Fi and just, it's all coming together. So just a pleasure to be fishing on that boat. Jordan's absolutely, he's like, I love this boat. This is, the 21 footer was great. This thing.
I know, I can't wait to get that thing bloody.
We are going to make it a mess. It needs to be a mess. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Much more to come. We're going to have that boat on the water, 8 ton, both fresh and salt water. So looking forward to an entire season. Jumping out for a quick break. We come back. Mr. Dave Johnson is on the docket right after this. Defiance Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Defiance Marine guarantees the best price on a new and best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine is a boat dealer who proudly sells Defiance, Allied, and Arima boats. All boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Defiance Marine has all your boating needs to help you get out on the water.
The Northwest premier upland bird hunting destination. Located along the beautiful Umatilla River in eastern Oregon. Fully guided bird hunts with expert guides and top-notch dogs. Enjoy comfortable accommodations and gourmet meals at the Riverview Lodge. Book your sensational hunting experience with Horseshoe Curve Outdoors.
All right, welcome back here to the program. I want to introduce you all to a friend of ours. If you haven't seen him on the show before, well, now you get a little taste of what he's all about. Mr. Dave Johnson, GM at Kitsap Marina, and very busy this time of year. He's basically the man with his thumb on the pulse of all that is NOF and PFMC, Tommy.
That is an understatement.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Dave, how you doing? Welcome to the program.
Great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Good to see you.
Yep, great to see you. So, hey, let's just get right into this. You've been very busy. I just wrapped up PFMC down there in Vancouver, which was going from the 6th to the 11th. Now, let's face it, Dave, one of the key things a lot of folks key in on and wait for are the ocean options that come out of those early meetings. We always are, given 3 ocean options with various numbers relative to Chinook and Coho. Real quickly, if you can break it down as to why do we get the 3 options and what do those numbers truly represent?
Well, the PFMC is run by the Mitchell-Stevens Act. And when you get into the ocean's a federal fishery, and the state adopts the 3 miles into the shore, whatever the federal NIMS comes up with, and the PFMC. So it's all federally funded. So they have to come out with 3 options, and then it's got to go for public review for 30 days. And then we meet again, go over all the public comments that have come in, both written and at public meetings. We have our local meeting March 24th at 7 p.m. at the Chateau Westport for anybody that wants to go in and give public comment there on the 3 options. And then we whittle it down to 1 option and start running models to see if we make exploitation rate and make sure we're taking care of our conservation objectives.
Gotcha.
Hey, brother Dave. I mean, I don't think the general public, the general fishing public that is really appreciates everything that you do. And I know it's difficult. And, you know, one of the considerations every year is the FRAM model, the modeling of the runs, if you will. And then also, you know, it really gets down to a few key strains of fish, right? Correct. And having those few runs of fish really dictate the overall picture, right? Because people don't understand. You know, you go out, you're like, well, I don't get it. I caught 20 Chinook salmon, and there's no lack of fish here. And it's like, well, yeah, but did you catch that one coho that has that poor return this year? So can you maybe just like walk us through, when you look at the ocean, you look at the Columbia River, you know, the Chinook and coho fisheries, what do we have on the table? What are we facing for restraining stocks that would limit our ability to fish this year?
So this year, we're pretty fortunate on the Chinook side. The BPH, or Spring Creek Hatchery, is expecting a record run. The last run this size was back in 23. We had a phenomenal king season. Mm-hmm. This year's going to be even bigger. So I'm very, very excited about that. The coho front, we've been working on, we started a new FRAM model last year. It hurt us pretty bad. It curtailed the ocean fisheries last year. It went from the old OPI, the Oregon Index, to this new FRAM model, and we were way off on the prediction. So this year it was even lower. Before we started north of Falcon, been working on it since last October or so. Lots of other people have been doing this. I was just a small keg in it, but you know, lots of people doing the back door. We went from 312,000 to almost 496,000 that got approved last week at north of Falcon, thanks to the PFMC and a bunch of people that voted on it. It went to the salmon technical team and the SSC, and both of them said they didn't have time to review it. And so it was brought up to the council floor, and all the council members voted on it. And it was a unanimous vote with one person voting no from California. And so we got the quota raised. Hopefully it's more realistic. They did a weighted date on it, so it really didn't change the methodology of it. It just changed the date stamps on it to have more current dates and use what the current ocean conditions have been over the last 5-6 years. So it really didn't change a lot, but we just shrunk down the time frame and we got a lot better result. Awesome. And it should be close to what's coming back.
Right on.
Real good.
That's excellent.
That
gives
really
to call them Chinook. Yeah. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit, Dave, while we got you here. Puget Sound Chinook numbers. I mean, looking at those, a couple things going on. One, we're definitely up on the hatchery return of Chinook into Puget Sound, up of about 52,000 over 2024 forecast. That being said, we're down a little on the wild recruitment, and we have those problematic areas still: Squamish, Snohomish, Skagit, Nooksack. Are those rivers and the impact and the low returns on those wild stocks going to impact our ability to, craft fisheries for us to, have great access, excuse me, to all those hatchery Chinook coming back?
It shouldn't hinder us in the Chinook side of it. What's going to hinder Puget Sound this year is Hood Canal coho.
Okay.
Hood Canal coho is basically in the crapper. It's in the toilet bad. We are way over what we're having in even in our ocean fisheries. So that's going to really curtail Puget Sound, is going to be the Hood Canal. So central Puget Sound should be safe once you get out of Area 9 fisheries. So 10 and 11, 13 should be good.
Oh, nice. Okay.
8-1, 8-2 should be really good, because they're not going to be impacting those Hood Canal fish.
Yeah, good point. All right, fantastic. Tell you what, up against a break here, but we got more to get to. So don't go anywhere. Jump out for a quick break. More with Dave Johnson right after this.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride in Bremerton, Washington. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why Arima boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. Arima can offer every boat with Honda outboard packages so that you can take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Call or stop by Arima Boats today and let them help you get into your very next boat.
You haven't been here, but you know it. You've heard the sounds, smelt the air, and seen where your heart lands, if not yet. You haven't been here, but you've longed for a destination near or far. A place where discovery and history thrive for young eyes and old alike. You haven't been here, but you're on your way to a place not far. ExploreTheDalles.com.
I make my living catching fish, not only as a tournament angler, but as a guide as well. Catching fish is important, and Gamakatsu hooks for me, you know, they kind of help take the luck out of fishing a little bit just because they're a high quality hook. Obviously have a really good reputation for being very strong and very sharp. Gamakatsu, I use their products every day in the boat, and, you know, big part of my success.
All right, welcome back here. We're still on with Dave Johnson. All that is PFMC and NOF, and always coming with the info. Dave, before the break, we talked a little bit about Chinook opportunity in Puget Sound and some of the impacts. So let's talk real briefly about this Stillaguamish, Snohomish, Skagit, Nooksack. In the past, it has, you know, impacted our ability to set season and go after an abundance of Chinook. Looking at those problem areas, I mean, what is it in bringing these fish back? The habitat that the wild fish just do not have to spawn, and will we ever get there? Will we ever see some of these runs rebound with what's going on?
I sure hope so. Habitat's a huge problem. I mean, Washington's probably the largest clear cut in the northern 48.
Yeah.
It's huge, and all the runoff from all the roads and everything else. But, you know, habitat's huge, and that's why we all support more hatchery fish. You know, the more hatchery fish you put out there, you got more dilution, and it gives protection for the wild fish to get back.
Makes sense.
Totally agree.
So we talk Chinook, we talk coho. We've got a huge pink salmon opportunity, Dave, and 7.8 million.
We'll just call it 8. You know, they're under forecast.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
Right.
8 million. Has there been any, I know the primary focus on the Chinook and coho, but has there been any discussion about, you know, potentially bonus limits for pinks in the salt or the fresh?
Yeah, we're not going to do it in the ocean this year, but Puget Sound probably will.
Nice.
You got to also look at Canada's got 27 million coming back
to the Fraser. Yeah, unbelievable.
So, you know, I'm praying to God they all come down the inside, not the outside. So when you and I are on the North Coast,
yes,
it's going to be tighten down those pro releases as tight as you can get them.
Right.
Then that 6-inch, 7-inch plug down.
Yep.
Go.
Stay off the pinks.
Amen.
You got it.
Amen.
For sure. Yeah, it's going to be a
Pray to
bloodbath.
God you don't catch any.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to get tired of catching them, probably. Good problem to have.
20-pound ball.
Yep.
Yes,
So,
sir.
hey, let's jump to halibut and lingcod. Got some great opportunity. Halibut quota looks to be fairly strong, large number, and good number of days on most of our ocean opportunity, is there not?
Yes, we luckily with the macaw tribe this year again at the IPHC meeting, we got the same quota we've had for about the last 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much the same structure season as last year. Politicked again, we got the 6-fish annual limit. So that's a good bonus this year again from the get-go. And it opens April 3rd in Straits and Puget Sound. Opens up, you know, first week in May, they're out in the ocean. And 3 days a week in May on the North Coast and 4 days a week in June. So it should be some spectacular fishing, you know. It's the ocean's open right now for lingcod and bass, and when Mother Nature lets them get out there, they're catching a lot of fish.
Right.
I gotta say, like, I don't think people appreciate how lucrative that limit is.
For sure.
You know, the number of days we can fish.
Yeah.
Like when I graduated college and came back 2006, started fishing halibut again. It was like you had to be there on the opening day. The marinas were loaded. And it didn't matter what the weather was doing. It could be a small craft advisory. You had to go out because you knew the season was going to be 3 or 4 days long.
Sure.
And then that was it. And it was completely shut down. To have come this far to where we don't have to fish early May if we don't want to.
June weather is nice.
We've got 6 halibut that we can catch. We can choose when we want to catch them.
Absolutely.
You know, and just to have that opportunity all the way through June. And we've even had a lot of residual opportunity and have it reopen in August. So, I mean, that's a credit to Dave and on all the work that you've done, brother. I really appreciate that. So I just want to get that out there and mention that because I'm very appreciative and grateful for that. One of the questions though I do want to ask is, you know, and I think a lot of people get into trouble over rockfish regulations, and it's for those that are new, it may be daunting or confusing to read through the regs, and every year they change a little bit. And you know, last year we kind of said, hey, we're not going to fish on copperheads, we're not going to fish on vermilions and quillbacks and certain species of rockfish at certain times of the year, and so there's also dates. So I'm curious, how do the bottom fish limits look? And do we have the same construct as far as which of those species we can't fish for? What does that look like?
Yeah, same construct as we had last year, except this year, the canary front, you're only allowed 5.
Okay.
And your bag limit of 7.
Oh, okay.
You have an aggregate limit of 9, so you can catch 2 lingcod, 7 bass, or canaries, or a mixture or whatever. And then you also got to keep reminding yourself that you got a 20 fathom rule that goes into effect in certain areas.
Gotcha.
And it's a big ticket when you don't do it.
Yeah. Better pay attention. Yeah. So still pretty lucrative. I mean, 9 fish overall, and, you know, just make sure you keep the right species. And, you know, you get those ID cards from WDFW, those sheets to keep on the boat in case you struggle with identifying the exact species of your rockfish that you are either keeping or letting go. So, hey, Dave, before we run out of time, did I see about a 60,000 number attached to the Baker Lake sockeye opportunity?
Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. And Brewster Pool is going to be huge. But
yeah,
awesome.
What is 350,000 or so come back to the Columbia, and that's the forecast. And we know the last several years they've well under forecast. So we got a great potential there at Brewster, and the Baker Lake thing looks pretty inviting.
Yeah, no, they're great table fare, great for the kids. You know, it's a very kicker boats can go out there and fish.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. Well, always way too much info to get through with you, my friend, and never enough time, but we do appreciate you taking the time. Couple more meetings folks need to pay attention to. North of Falcon 1 statewide proposals Wednesday, March 19th, and then we got another PFMC Council public meeting. What is that? The 24th. So
24th in Westport.
Gotcha. Much more.
25th.
Gotcha. Yep. And they can go to the WDFW website and track down the NOF meeting schedule and pay attention to what's going on there. So appreciate all your effort, my friend. Tommy and I really do value the effort and the amount of work you and folks put in to get these seasons off the ground for us, and look forward to a great year, a great season of fishing.
Thanks, guys. If anybody's got any questions, get a hold of me. I'll fill you in.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
We'll see you next time. Thanks. All right. That is a lot of info.
Just phenomenal individual.
And a little bit of time. Dave Johnson, he's always on top of it. Okay, quick break, and we'll be back with Jason Harris, owner at Hunt G4. What is it? We're going to tell you all about it right after this break.
You haven't been here, but you know it. You've heard the sounds, smelt the air, and seen where your heart lands, if not yet. You haven't been here, but you've longed for a destination near or far, where the young and old find rest and excitement, not apart. You haven't been here, but you're on your way to a place not far. ExploreTheDalles.com.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
oh, geez, come on.
Nice fish.
Nice fish.
All Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why all boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. All Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. All Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Before you buy any boat, stop by or call Defiance Boats today to ensure you are getting the very best glass boat your money can buy.
All right, welcome back here, and I want to introduce you folks to an individual I met this last week when Mario and I headed down to the Northwest Hunt Expo, created and put on by the nonstop effort of this gentleman, Jason Harris, owner at Hunt G4 and creator of the first annual Northwest Hunt Expo. Jason, great to see you, man. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So before we get into the expo, give us a quick rundown on Hunt G4 for those who aren't familiar with it. What is it? What do you guys sell there? Exactly where are you located?
Yeah, so we are located North Plains, Oregon, Highway 26 heading west out towards like Seaside, coming out of Portland, and we are a kind of modern all-around hunting shop. We specialize in archery as well as your kind of higher end hunting rifles, kind of the modern brands that are out there, quite a few of them, all the optics and a lot of gear, from boots to packs to clothing, just a lot of the modern brands that are out there today. And that's kind of it. We just specialize in all around hunting and outdoor gear.
Right on.
You got to God bless the hunting community, because there is never a lack of innovation in our community, from, new rifles, new bows, right? Yeah. Just everything, even bolt rifles, an invention that came, decades and decades ago, right? We're seeing new things, suppressors on 20-inch barrels getting 3,000 feet per second out of the muzzle. So everything that we love, right? And then there's the other side of the coin, which is everything that we don't love, right? Which is all of these really restrictive laws and regulations that are being passed in the state of Washington. And sounds like Oregon's going the same way. And so, I'm just curious with everything going on with these new laws, from waiting periods to permits to safety courses and all this other crap. How is that going to affect our ability to come down and purchase some firearms?
So, it's up in the air, a lot of it, as we know. Unfortunately, these people that pass these things against our will obviously don't have a clue of really what they're doing or how it's going to work, unfortunately. So I think we're all up in there. We've talked to some attorneys today, because obviously Portland is pushing it again, or Oregon is pushing it. I say Portland, which is correct. It's not Oregon. It is Portland, but it is being pushed. And again, they did put it into effect. Again, it's in limbo. We got a 30-day period. We're waiting to kind of see. Hopefully we can push back and put a stop to it. Again, it's up in the air, but we are researching it. The bottom line is like I said, the purchase to permit, we all know last time they did this, it just didn't. It's just hard. There's just nobody that can really step up on how this is going to work. It's so simple. We don't know, unfortunately. As far as the big picture, unfortunately, we don't know. Just like you guys don't know. We don't know right now. With the laws that Washington passed, like I've talked to Duane before, we can still do stuff here where you can come to Oregon. We have a big selection at G4 of all the modern, rifles, Fierce being a big one today. We do a lot of Seekins, proof research, stuff like that, where we have the selection. You're not going to see it in a lot of places. And so it still is an advantage. And, there is a sales tax advantage if you're coming from Washington and buying down here, which is great. So there are some, and we carry a lot of brands, Tafar, Stone Glacier, things that you're not going to find at a lot of places. So it is a unique opportunity. And like I said, the store that you walk in, it's divided 50-50, a full archery pro shop carrying all the major brands, Hoyt, Matthews, Bowtech, PSC, Darton, as well as you got the gun and optic side, which carries every optic known to man. And
I love it.
a lot of gun and a lot of shotgun options, stuff like that. So
it's a whole lot of hunting atmosphere, and who doesn't want to come down and save money on sales tax?
Yeah, we got to take a road trip.
Yeah, we got to take a road trip. All right, Jason, before we run out of time, let's get to the Northwest Hunt Expo. So 3-day event that came out of your big brain and put this whole thing together and pulled in a bunch of folks. The cool thing about this for consumer, it's direct purchase from manufacturer, which is just ideal. Come there and talk to the people that rep the product right from the factory. What's the overall takeaway? Successful 3-day event for your first one?
Yeah, so exactly what I said. Put together an opportunity for the consumer of the Northwest, which I think we're all from here. I'm here, and again, yes, I own G4, but I am no different than anybody, and I've been my whole life. And we put together a show that would bring all the most current, modern, from rifles, optics, gear, boots, packs, the whole tents, everything to the Northwest, which just nobody has been able to do.
Right.
I use my leverage of G4, obviously, in relationships to kind of make that happen, to get the first group of guys to commit. And then, of course, that kind of trickled. We got a lot more. Luckily, we got over about 55 this year, pretty good names. And we're already growing on that for next year. So the show this year was really successful for first year show. Didn't know what to expect. I kind of, as a hunter, thought, man, this has got to be great. People are going to love it. It was really awesome to do it and to hear the consumers coming in and how thankful and how grateful they were to see all these brands, which was super awesome. And I've been getting nothing but phone calls and emails for the last 3 days from every manufacturer that attended the show about how great it was and how awesome it was for them to meet the Northwest hunters, outdoorsmen who were coming up to their booths. I mean, they said it was, out of all the shows they do, it was the most quality customer base they've ever seen at a show. So
fantastic.
Right
what
on.
we hoped it would do. And they said, I had Eric from Muley Freak call me today. I've had multiple people call me that said, listen, Jason, I had people coming up to me, thanking me for being there.
Yeah.
Right. So it did what I hoped it would do. I've been listening to the Northwest Outdoors my entire life. I've been that guy, and as owning G4 for 10 years, I've never heard anything said more than, man, why doesn't anybody do a great all hunting show? Why don't all these brands come to the Northwest? And so, I put that out there, and I'm very happy to say that the Northwest hunter did show up in the way that I assumed and hoped they would, and prove to every brand at the show that this is a valid place. There's a lot of hunters in the Northwest, and it is a place they need to pay attention to. I have seen it as G4 because that's what we are. We're a representation of all these brands.
Yeah.
And so I just knew it would work, and it did. So super happy to say it was the first year. It exceeded my goals from a sales standpoint. Everybody I talked to, the sales were phenomenal. The attendance, and what's crazy to me, as much as I'd love to say, hey, we drew 30, 40,000, but it's not the case. It's not that kind of show. We drew about 5,000 people.
Right on.
Is not a ton of people, but when you're talking 5,000 avid hunters that are coming there to learn the product and all about tents and the makeup and have every gun and this and that, man, it was busy, and everybody there was super happy. And it was nice because you could talk and you could have time to talk and you could do it all. And like I said, it went as good as I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, we did a fantastic job, coordinated it all, pulled in a lot of great companies with their brands. And I have to imagine the phone's ringing off the hook to get other companies that now hear about it, and they realize what they missed out on. And for folks that didn't participate, they're finding out what they missed out on. And we can't wait for season 2 with you down there. And because we'll definitely be back. It was a pleasure to come down, check it all out, see what you had going on, and meet you. And we'll be sure to stay in contact as we move through the year. So
no, I look forward to it. Like I said, and you're right. We've already had about 5 big names that weren't this year already reach out to get in this next year.
Fantastic.
So we're excited to bring some more big names and do it again next year.
Right on. Well, appreciate you jumping on here for today and spend a little time with us on the program here. And don't be a stranger. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah, sounds good, guys.
All right. Jason
Thanks,
Harris.
Jason.
Yep. Owner at Hunt G4. Check them out online, huntg4.com, and see what they got going on down there. Get on down to Oregon, save a little bit on that sales tax, and pay attention when these gun laws change.
Yeah, for sure.
Change is coming. Sure. All right, jumping out for a quick break. Coming back, got all the info on the 2025 5th annual FHN Kids Trout Derby at Summit Lake right after this.
The Northwest premier upland bird hunting destination. Located along the beautiful Umatilla River in eastern Oregon. Fully guided bird hunts with expert guides and top-notch dogs. Enjoy comfortable accommodations and gourmet meals at the Riverview Lodge. Book your sensational hunting experience with Horseshoe Curve Outdoors.
Start your outdoor adventure at SportGo and Outdoor Emporium, 2 locations with the best selection of name brand outdoor gear at affordable warehouse pricing. Over 60,000 different items to fit in your adventure, like Gamakatsu fishing gear, premium grade high carbon steel hooks, Gamakatsu custom designed fillet and boning knives to tackle and storage containers. Gamakatsu, simply the best. Maximize your outdoor adventure with the right gear at SportGo and Outdoor Emporium, Fife and Seattle.
All right, welcome back here to the studio. So, Tommy, this year, 2025, 5th annual FHN Kids Trout Derby that we host at Summit Lake, and put a little post out a couple weeks ago on our social media platforms. A lot of you folks have been asking about it, so I want to give you a quick rundown where it is, time, dates, location, how to get involved, everything you need to know. So pay attention. So yes, it's the 5th annual Kids Trout Derby, and it'll be held once again at the Summit Lake Community Center. The date for this year event, now it's always the 3rd Saturday of May. So this year it's May 17th. Daylight start for those going out to fish. Daylight start, and then participants must be in line for weigh-in at the community center by 11 a.m. and the lines start forming. So make sure you get there in time. We're anticipating possibly up to anywhere around 200 kids this year, Tommy, 14 years of age and under. This year, once again, we've teamed up with Mission Outdoors, who will be providing all the food for free, breakfast and lunch. You and the kids all eat for free, and drinks. PSA Gig Harbor, Tacoma chapter, will provide a kids trout pond to be located at the community center. Now, we do this for kids 5 and under to be able to fish there at the community center if they can't get out in a boat or be on the shoreline. Bank fishing is accessible at the boat ramp, but it is limited space and it gets pretty crowded pretty fast. So a lot of people show up with their boats to get the kids out fishing. Now, if you want to participate and you do not have a boat, the Washington State Guide Association, once again, is providing a few boats with professional guides who are licensed and insured, and we will take families and kids. We'll take multiple kids and one supervising adult on the boats with the guides. They will take them out, get their trout limits and fish limits, bring them back in, drop them off, bring out the next wave of folks until the time limit is up to where you got to get in line. So if you would like to participate in the Derby and want to get in on a guide boat to get the kids out, you simply need to email us at fishhuntnw@gmail.com. That way you can let us know names and ages of the children and which accompanying adult, and we'll get you on the list. This year we're putting together a list, Tommy, so we were a little more dialed on how many kids are going to be participating and who's getting out on the boat. So fishhuntnw@gmail.com. Sign up your kids, give us their names and their ages in the adult, and we will get you on the guide boats to participate. In more info to continue to come as we bring this together.
Yeah, and my kids are absolutely excited. They're talking smack with each other.
I'm sure.
They're ultra competitive.
Thomas is a ringer, man.
Don't ask me where they get it.
That is hilarious.
We're up against the break, so I got to mention one more plug real quick. Hey, we talked about it last week, a little bit more on Senate Bill 5583, right? This is one where we got the license fee increases from WDFW. Don't be too offended, and here's why. Here's what's at stake. If we don't allow this to pass, we don't get that increase, we will incur hatchery program cuts as well as our pheasant release program. So it's critical that we understand what's at stake here.
That pheasant release program has got a lot of person's attention. They're shutting down the whole birdhouse, the rearing of the pheasant, the release sites. It all goes away, and a number of hatchery programs get cut. We haven't had an increase in fees in 10 to 11 years. We need to be on board with this. Contact your legislators. Let them know that you want to make sure we move this process on through Senate Bill 5583.
83.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
All right, out for a quick break. We'll be back to close it out. Allied, the new leader in heavy gauge aluminum boats. Allied boats have standard reverse chine and lifting rakes to help you plane faster and run at lower RPMs. Allied boats have several models to choose from, ranging from a 19-foot Mustang all the way up to a 32-foot Liberator. So regardless of what type of heavy gauge aluminum boats you are looking for, Allied Boats will have it for you. Contact Allied Boats today to learn more about these incredible fishing machines.
You haven't been here, but you know it. You've heard the sounds, smelt the air, and seen where your heart lands, if not yet. You haven't been here, but you've longed for a destination near or far. A place where discovery and history thrive for young eyes and old alike. You haven't been here, but you're on your way to a place not far. ExploreTheDalles.com.
All right, welcome back as we wind it down here. So I actually sat and listened to the Grays Harbor North of Falcon first step in the process, numbers coming out last evening and some things to look forward to. Going to be a little bit tough, though, in that part of the region, I think, meeting escapement goals on wild Chinook, talking about the Grays Harbor Basin overall. They're still flexing the numbers here and there a little bit. Looks like plenty of coho opportunity, but I looked at some numbers, Tommy, from the last few years. Coho numbers continue to drop off. 2023, we had a forecast of 214,000 plus. 2024 was down to 143,000. Now we're looking at 128, almost 129,000. So it has fallen off quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Some of the input was less than the bag limit to extend the season, so we don't get shut down early. I mean, we've been pretty lucrative the last several years with a 2-bag limit, like from the opener out of Grays Harbor, out in the bay, the marine area, mid-September, all the way through, say, November 30th, we're looking at a 2-fish limit. Hatchery or wild has been pretty lucrative. Going to probably tighten that up a little bit this year and not see maybe a 2-fish all the way through. There's probably some window of opportunity there because they know when the bulk of them hatchery fish come in. And those numbers don't look too terrible. But, gosh, 152,000 chum.
That's a lot. Yeah.
For the basin. Yeah. That is a lot of chum. I mean, if you just want to fight chum and let them go.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
You're good?
No, I'm good.
You don't want to go do some bobber and egg fishing with me this year?
We'll see if I can work that in.
It's going to be kind of busy, but yeah, there's definitely going to be some opportunity. I mean, we do look forward to getting in the drift boat and getting on those Grays Harbor rivers, but we're going to see how this season comes together and what the bag limits are. I'm going to kind of have to compare that to opportunity, what's going on in Puget Sound.
Yeah.
And go, well, am I better suited just to put in time in Puget Sound or run out to Grays Harbor? I'll probably jump back and forth between both.
With that new boat, you got to go Puget Sound.
Well, it
makes sense.
It's very attractive. Yes. It's very attractive. So, all right, going to do it for us. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Had a great time. I want to thank our guest, Dave Johnson, and, of course, Jason Harris. Looking forward to next week. Weather looks a little dicey for the first handful of days getting through the weekend, but then it cleans up a little bit. So, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Get outdoors, get something done. We'll see you next time.